have been paying for stuff in one form or another since before recorded history. So why is it 2025 and we still sometimes find ourselves running to a cash machine or searching through our bags for a spare bit of cash when a payment option fails? For this video, in partnership with Tide Business Banking, I've been asking around some personal finance experts for their most weird, wonderful, and frankly disastrous money stories. If you've got a similar money story that you want to share, we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And if we get enough of them, we'll make another video just like this one. Okay, so our first story is from Adam, who had this to say. Everyone said how stressful and not to mention expensive weddings can be. But by keeping things local and low-key, me and my partner felt like we had breezed through the process. Oh my God, well done. That was until we arrived at the reception venue with 150 people already in the space. We were suddenly informed that the bar that evening would be cash only. Hammersmith has probably never seen so many well-dressed people queuing for a cash machine. And for those that didn't make it to the cash machine or who ran out of cash, the wedding present table became a sort of pseudo ATM with people dipping into their own wedding gifts in search of cash. Okay, first of all, Adam, I hope you recouped all of your missing wedding gifts that went on vodka cokes that evening, because that is an absolute nightmare. There's so much planning that goes into a wedding, as if someone couldn't have told you this before. I mean, really, this all comes down to a couple of things. One, you need advance warning. Cash only is not crazy difficult if you know in advance, especially for something like a wedding. Come on, we can all, well, actually, that said, loads of people already had taken cash out for the wedding gift, so just a little extra for a couple of drinks that night, easy. Secondly, that venue definitely needs more versatile payment options. I mean, to just spring that on someone in the moment and not have any kind of backup that you could set up is 2025. The second submission is from Shannon, who was on holiday in Moldova when this payment disaster befell her. She said, "We were told that the taxi accepted card payments, but when we got to the hotel, we realized it was only possible via a Moldovan payment app, which we didn't have, nor did we have the internet to download. The taxi driver didn't speak English, so he had to FaceTime his daughter to translate for us that there was no cash point around. So the lady at the hotel had to pay for our taxi with her own money." Ugh. Traveling is stressful at the best of times, but this actually sounds like one of those beautiful humanity-affirming experiences where you're in the middle of nowhere, you've got no internet, you've got no money, there's a language barrier going on, and yet somehow, due to the kindness of strangers, you have managed to make that work. And I do hope, Shannon, that you did pay the woman back at the hotel. I'm sure you did. I think a really good modern solution to this as well would be like payment links. Payment links is something that a lot of sort of payment solution providers offer, such as Tide, where if you want to charge somebody for something, for their service, you can send them a secure link and then they can pay in their own time. So the transaction doesn't have to happen in the moment. It gives you way more flexibility. And it just means that everybody can be accountable because you'll get a notification when that person has paid, and just saves you faffing around with FaceTime and the kindness of strangers to rely on paying for things. Speaking about smart payment solutions, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Tide, and how they're helping businesses get paid faster and smarter with Tap to Pay. No extra hardware, no cables, no fuss. Just tap a card or mobile wallet to your smartphone for a quick, secure and encrypted payment anytime, anywhere. Want to keep more of what you earn? Tide's competitive transaction rates mean more savings on every sale, right from your smartphone. Whether you're at a market stall, on the move or behind the counter, Tide puts the power of payment in your pocket. Check the link in the description below to learn more and start getting paid with Tide. The next submission is from me. And I said, in 2018, I was doing my first stand-up comedy show at the Edinburgh Fringe. Brag. Traditionally, comedians would ask for cash donations via plastic buckets at the end of the show. But in increasingly cashless times, card readers were starting to appear on the scene. I was living with 5 other comedians also doing shows, and we didn't have much money at the time, so we decided to split a card reader between us. What was supposed to make our lives 10 times easier became the bane of my life admin at the Fringe. One card reader between 5 comedians in 5 different venues across an infamously hilly, cobblestoney and hard to navigate city. Also, at the time, I had actually broken my foot, so cut to me hobbling across Edinburgh with minutes before my show to grab this card reader. It was an absolute nightmare, and to add insult to injury, some of the venues that we were in were actually caves, and so were absolute black holes for signal. So you would have to drag these willing, eager people who wanted to pay for your show down the street or up a hill in Edinburgh just to get them to make a £5 donation to your show. It was an absolute logistical nightmare. So a couple of things that really annoyed me about this situation. Number one, it doesn't leave a very good lasting impression on your audience. These people have sat through an hour show, they've enjoyed it, they've loved it, they want to give you some money to say that they've enjoyed it, and yet you can't take payments, so you're dragging them down the street. And it all just starts to feel just a little bit icky and not quite the magic moment that you want to end the show on. I think also it comes down to really understanding your business model. At that time, we really needed flexibility when taking payments, and we also needed something with good signal. Now, Edinburgh is a bit of a black hole for signal, but with something like a Tide card reader, you can get Wi-Fi connectivity, which means that you could connect to the venue's Wi-Fi, and taking payments would not have been a problem at all. Also, tap to pay on iPhone wasn't a thing back then, but my God, it would have been so helpful if it was. Even if, say, all 5 comedians were sharing the same account, we could have used our own mobile devices to take a payment if we were using Tide's tap to pay on iPhone, and it just would have made life so much easier. Trying to get across Edinburgh with 2 working feet is difficult at the best of times. As I say, cobblestone streets, lots of hills, tons of people at the Edinburgh Fringe. So to have that flexibility and to have a way to take payment just already in your pocket in a device that you're carrying around anyway would have just been an absolute lifesaver. Next, we're going to hear from Devinda, who's got a real nostalgic one here for us. So she said, I never have cash for non-uniform day at school for my son. Oh, I remember non-uniform days, so good. She said, it's a nightmare, but this school has recently started a payment online for donations, which is a lifesaver for me. Also, now my window cleaner accepts card payments on his phone. Dreamy. I now don't need to awkwardly hide when he knocks on the door if I don't have cash. Okay, she has said that that part is a lie, but very relatable. She's so real for that. I would also do the same. She said, I used to have to just rack up a bill with him and try to remember to get money out of the cash point, sometimes 3 months worth of window cleaning services. Just want to thank you, Devinda, for your absolute realness here, because I would absolutely do the same thing. I'm not going to use the cash machine for like 20 quid here, 20 quid there, but maybe for like a big bulk payment, you might kind of put it in your diary to go and do that. I think we really take for granted those moments in life where you still just need a little bit of change. When I was growing up, we had a big coin pot in the study. So it would just be if you needed a quid for like the locker for the swimming pool or for a donation at school, you could just grab a pound coin out of there. But I literally would have no cash lying around at home. One innovative payment solution, a bit like what Devinda has said here with her school setting up an online payment hub for donations. I was at a village fair recently and I was actually helping to run the pony rides, and pony rides were £1 a go, absolute bargain. And first of all, I was amazed by the people who had a pound coin on their person. Secondly of all, I thought what they did was great. So they had a card reader at a table, at like a station at the event. And so instead of finding a pound for each of the stalls or each of the activities at the fair, people could go to the place where there was a card reader, pay 10 quid into the central hub, and then get like tickets, which they could then exchange for the activities, the services, the pony rides, etc. at the village fair. And I thought, that is just a really streamlined way of doing that. And thank God for card readers. I think what's key here is about reducing friction for people making payments. Sometimes not being able to pay for stuff in a convenient way is really going to put people off returning to that retailer or using that service again. We are all so used to using our phones to make payments. Some people barely even take their physical cards out anymore. And I think not being able to keep up with the way people pay for stuff could be really detrimental to a business. Thanks to everyone who submitted their money stories. If you've got a similar money story that you want to share, we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. As I said at the beginning, we've got some links in the description if you want to find out more. And I will see you guys next time.